Hi and welcome to episode 15 of the Dreaming in Fibre podcast. My name is Sarah and I am your host for today, and you can find me online at www.SarasTextureCraft.com. So what have I got in store for you today? Well, there are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. First of all, I guess I should really apologise for the fact that there was no episode last month. Usually I tend to podcast at least once a month. But it got really busy, so I mean all good, but it just meant that something had to give, and unfortunately that was the podcast. So I hope that you didn't miss me too much. We've got plenty today to catch up on, so this may be a bit of a long show, so remember, if I'm going on too long for you, there's a pause button. You can always watch the second half another day. So why was I delayed? Why was I missing last month? Well, normally this time of year, August, end of July, through August, through the majority of September, it tends to be quite a quiet month for my business. So that tends to be the time when I have lots of time to design either new colourways or products, or think about new tutorials and patterns, that kind of thing. And this year I just didn't get to any of that, which was all good, because it was a combination of doing a show that I hadn't anticipated to do, and actually I did far better at the show than I anticipated I would as well, which meant I came back with no stock. So I was madly sort of rushing about the end of August to get enough stock together for September. I also had Fleece Club and Fibre Club shipments going out. I had some retail orders as well, which was fantastic. And by that I mean the orders I do for trade, if you like. And then the shop got really busy as well. The website did phenomenally well, both Etsy and my main website, SarasTextureCraft.com, and I couldn't quite believe it. I mean, it was absolutely awesome. So thank you ever so much for all of your help and support throughout that time. It was just amazing to know that I've got you guys behind me, and I've really enjoyed getting all of your orders out, and yeah, I'm still kind of in awe that I didn't have as much time on my hands as I kind of usually do at that time of year. So it's meant that a few things that I've spoken about previously, for example, I said that by this month I would probably have 3 new patterns to talk about, knitting patterns, means I haven't actually been able to write them up. The products are finished being knit and they are fully finished. I just need to photograph them and write up the pattern. I have also not been able to design as many new colourways as I would like to have done, but we've still got time because the release of new colourways won't be until January. I'd just like to get things tied up early, because then I can schedule dye works pre-January, so that when January comes I'm not only launching a new colour card, but there will be stock of new colours in the shop in various fibre forms and so on. So I think I should get time for that in the beginning of November. That's when it's penciled in anyway, so hopefully we will get there. If not, and the launch of new colours is delayed until February, then I hope you will bear with me. Certainly there will be 6 new colourways, because don't forget the 6 unique colourways I dyed for Fibre Club and will be dyeing for the rest of Fibre Club will be launched in January, and they are done. It's just a case of photographing those and making sure I have stock available in January. So there will be at least 6 new colours in terms of a colour card. It may be that other colours follow on from February, but we'll see how we go. So it's all been good news, and as I say, I've been extremely busy and kind of desperate to podcast, because there were a few things that I wanted to tell you about but not really had the opportunity. So I thought first of all today I would probably talk through Fleece Club and Fibre Club so far, just really to give you, if you hadn't had the opportunity to participate this year, a heads up on what it was about how it was going, and what were included in the packs, so that if you did fancy having a go next year, you kind of have a bit more of an idea of how it would work and what your money would be going towards. So this year's Fleece Club, if we start with Fleece Club, was split over 3 deliveries, and you've got 50 grams of 3 different fleece bases each month. You got a selection of, and I'll reel these off to you, Gotland, Saraapos, Manx Lochtan, Wensleydale, Romney, Shetland, Ryland, Llyn and Devon Longwool. The idea of the club for me was not only to give you an opportunity to sample new breeds, but to give you an opportunity for those of you who maybe hadn't bought raw fleece before to learn about how to process that fleece and to develop it onto a product that you were looking to make. So for example, in the first pack, your free gift in the first pack was a small sachet of Unicorn Fibre Wash, which is a fibre wash I stock in the shop, which is specifically aimed at washing your raw fleeces. It is a marvellous, marvellous product. I cannot praise it highly enough. I will do a separate review on the product for my How to Make website, which you can find links to on the front page of my main website, SarasTextureCraft.com. The idea was that I would give you basic washing instructions within your first pack. You would receive the sachet, so you would be able to try out my method of washing. You would have notes on particular breeds, and then you would also get the sachet, so you would be able to try something that you maybe hadn't tried in terms of washing your fleece before. I know that a lot of people tend to use things like washing detergent or washing up liquid, that kind of thing, even baby shampoo, and all of that is fine, but I find that particularly on the heavier greased fleeces, the Unicorn Fibre Wash is hands down the perfect product for that. So that was your first club goodie. The second club, I gave a small lavender sachet. The idea being is once you've washed all your fleece and fibre, even if you're not using it at that point in time, then you can store it safely out of the way of those moths. We had, I'm not sure if it was the same where you are, but certainly here in the UK, there was an influx of moths, I would say end of August, beginning of September, and it was actually a really big concern because well, for me anyway, I mean, storing raw, I have raw fleece on the premises, I also have washed fleece, I have tops in various forms, rovings, bats, that kind of thing, and yarn as well. And for one single moth to get into that room and lay eggs would cause chaos, absolute chaos. And because it's a business as well, you're looking at financial loss. It's not just, oh, I've lost a skein of yarn from my stash. You're talking about serious implications really for a little business like myself. So I thought that was important. I also gave you recommendations that if you didn't want to use lavender sachets, you could also use cedarwood as well. I know some people are a little bit allergic to hay fever, in terms of hay fever to lavender, so cedarwood was your second best option. And then in the final pack, I made up a little certificate of achievement for each of my customers, and I gave a coupon for fleece within the shop if to purchase by a certain time. I forget off the top of my head what that date was. I think it's runs until the end of the competition, which is due to finish soon. That's the competition on Ravelry. So I thought that was quite a nice little thing to do, a fun little thing to do. I mean, even if you haven't got round to washing all of your samples and trying them, whether it be felt making or spinning, I just thought it would be quite nice to, a quirky little thing to give away a certificate of achievement, you know, because I hope at any rate that I have been able to maybe impart some of the knowledge I have. I mean, I don't claim to be an expert at anything I do, but if I know something that could be helpful to you, I'm quite happy to pass it on. The other thing I wanted to mention about Fleece Club is that the new Fleece Club will start, the sign-ups will start, I think, around April of next year. I've penciled it in for. Yes, it seems crazy to start talking about next year, but I've had to already start thinking about it. I've got myself a wall chart, and yes, I have booked shows up until August of next year already. So as crazy as that sounds, yeah. Sometimes when you're working, you know what it's like in your own work. Sometimes there are some things you have to plan for a year ahead in advance. Crazy. But there you go. So yeah, we're probably looking at next April as our sign-up start date. I will introduce sign-ups via the newsletter. So if you're not a member of my newsletter, then jump onto the website SarasTextureCraft.com and sign up to the newsletter direct from the front page. From there you will receive newsletters from me once a month. They're free, they're packed full of information, tips that I've been able to provide, and anything of interest sort of outside of what I normally do, things like customer projects, that kind of thing. So it's not all just a sell newsletter, but through there what I will do is I will offer you guys the opportunity to fill up those spots first of all before I put them on the website. So do remember that if Fleece Club is one of those things that you'd like to have a go, join up to the newsletter now, and you'll be notified at the time when those sign up spots are open and the procedure to claim your spot. Next up, I'm going to mention the first pack of Fibre Club. Wow, it was crazy. It was I managed to get 20 out of the 30 spots I had for sale filled, which I was extremely pleased with. I hadn't expected, to be honest, that kind of uptake. I was like thinking there would be 10, 15. So to have 20 was really good. It was really fun to dye up everything. It wasn't as chaotic as I thought it might be, doing that in the process of doing lots of other things. However, it is time consuming, so I am trying to factor that in when I do the next Fibre Club, so that I give you the best of everything. Not to say that you haven't got that with the first club, but I just kind of want to make sure for myself that I know I have enough time to pay 120% concentration on it rather than just 110, So, spoiler alert, if you haven't for any reason received your first pack, please know that I'm about to show the colourways here. And if you haven't for any reason received that first pack, contact me, because let's see if we can find out what's happened to it, because it did ship on the 19th of May and sorry, not the 19th of May, the 19th of September. You can see how tired I am. The 19th of September. So I think even in overseas cases it should be there by now, so let's see, we're the 1st of October. So the first club I dyed Falkland and Jacob in 2 different colourways, 100 grams of each. The idea behind Fibre Club is that I want you to try new breeds and some of my exclusive hand-dyed colourways that nobody else will be able to get hold of until January of next year. Again, in each pack you receive a small prezzy from me, but the idea really is that you get out of your comfort zone, maybe play with colours that you haven't really taken to before or thought you might use before, but also to try different fibre bases as well, because they do take consideration when you're spinning or when you're felting. So let's have a look at the first one. I'll show you Falkland. This colourway was Colour Harvest, and I hope you can see, because it's it's not the greatest of light outside, and the light that I've got here is quite yellow, so I'm hoping that you'll be able to see that quite well. This is Colour Harvest, as I say, and within that you've got... Okay, so let's try that again. That was a delivery of packaging, which I've actually needed for a while, so I was quite glad to be close to the door for that one. Okay, so Harvest on Falkland. You've got some mustard yellows going through to some sort of mossy green olivey colours. You've also got this deep sort of claret plum type red next to this sort of chocolatey brown. So as you can see, it always varies across the length of the top. Because I kettle dye, you get different variations as you spin your braid, where the dye has saturated more areas than others. So that's Falkland in Colour Harvest. It's lovely and soft, and I think on Ravelry there has been, I think, one picture so far. Somebody Navajo-plied it. I think she started from one end and she must have zigzagged across the top of the braid so that she could keep as much of the colour in longer lengths as possible. I'm not sure that she actually tore out the yellow to spin that and then the claret and then the moss or whatever. I think she zigzagged across the top, and she's actually Navajo-plied it to keep as much of the colour in its graduation across the length of the yarn, and that looks fabulous. It would be interesting to see this in a 2-ply where you get a sort of barber pole effect, maybe even fractal spin it. Yeah, it could be really interesting. I haven't seen it yet, anybody felt make with it yet, but actually I think it could be really nice, especially if you are making something like a bag. You could strip the colours out, so you could start with, you could do like a gradation, start with a yellowy sort of shade at the top of the bag, go through to moss, then to this sort of claret, and then maybe finish with the chocolate. Yeah, so some interesting things going on. It's been really nice actually to have the use of that Ravelry forum, because you see how people think and how people treat colour, and of course everybody's reaction to it is completely different. So that's Falkland. And then the second one, which I wanted to throw in there, A, because it was bright, and B, because I thought it would be a bit of a challenge, because most of my customers tend to want to spin either Blueface Leicester, Merino or Falkland, or those fibres in blends, so such as with silk or with bamboo or with tencel. And actually I think there are some other really fantastic fibres out there which are really great for spinning that I really wanted to highlight within this pack. And I also wanted to highlight really playing with colour and really considering how you took the fibre to the wheel. So this is, and it might be very dark in here, but I hope you can still see it, it's actually really quite bright. When you, let me see if I can undo it. Which end did I do? No, not that end. If I undo it a bit, you get much more of an idea of how the colours play against each other. So you've got this sort of bright yellow next to this fuchsia colour, which mixes where it bleeds together to make orange. That the fuchsia bleeds together with the blue to make a kind of purple tone, and then again with the yellow the other side to make, you know, sort of hints of green. So it's come out as a real kind of rainbow effect. And I called this Summer in the City. It's on Jacob Humbug. So Jacob Humbug is essentially a blend between black and white Jacob. So that's come off of a commercial machine, commercial blending machine, and it's just been blended twice between the white and the black, so you get this black and white striping effect on the fibre. When you over dye this, of course you get the opportunity to see these real sort of bright colours hitting against that dark black of the Jacob, which is actually more of a warm sort of deep bitter chocolate than a true black. But it actually comes up really nice in yarn, and it also makes you think, do I take this to the wheel and spin it as is and get a kind of sort of petrol-y melange effect that will give you sort of a petrol kind of look to your yarn? Or do I strip out, say, areas of the light bits and strip out the dark bits and try to spin those separately so that you've got a real kind of contrast between those colours? Or can I maybe pick out those colours in certain areas so that I get a kind of tweedy effect as I spin the yarn? You know, how am I going to spin it? I haven't seen anybody's pictures yet as to how they've spun this one, but I know a lot of them have kind of, they've left comments saying, you know, I've had to sit down and think about this one. I love the colour, I absolutely love the colour, but I'm not sure how I want it to look as a finished yarn yet. I did see there was one person who spindle spun from this already, and she was really pleased with the results because she'd not tried Jacob before and she found that it was actually a really easy fibre to spin. And for her it is coming out this kind of melange effect because she's just spinning direct from the top. So these two are from the first club and they are my braids. So I'm at some point going to try and spin along with everybody. I have got a thread open on the Ravelry group, so if you're not in the club but you'd still like to have a look and see how people get on, then find my group, Sara's Texture Crafts, on Ravelry. You can see what we're up to. I'm just leaving it open because I'm hoping that what people will be able to do in the end is actually post pictures of finished articles that they've made, whether it's something they've woven, something they've felted, or something they've knitted and crocheted. So we'll see how that goes, and as I say, you're always welcome to pop in and have a look and see what people are doing. The next Fibre Club is going to be in January, or the spots are going to open in January. Again, that will all be through my newsletter, so if you're not signed up, pop over to the website SarasTextureCrafts.com and get yourself signed up. As soon as those spots open, you will be the first people to know. Once all of those spots are filled, or if they're not filled and the deadline is hit, then those remaining spots will be available on the website for anybody who wants to join in and hasn't yet found the newsletter. If there aren't any spots left, it won't reach the website. So if this is something you really want to join in on, make sure you join that newsletter. In the first club, I think as the little freebie, yes I did, I gave the lavender sachet away because I had a huge surplus of them from the fleece club, and I kind of thought, actually with all the moths around and that at the moment, it kind of makes sense that I give it out to those Fibre customers as well. So I realised for some of you who joined Fleece Club and Fibre Club that you got a double hit of the lavender sachet, but don't actually think that's a bad thing this year, because honestly the problems with moths is quite huge. So that's it for the clubs. The other thing I wanted to say was I was working hard on retail orders, as I mentioned earlier. I do have a few customers who've got their own shops, and I have, I would say, about 3 customers who buy in bulk. Up until now, I haven't really been able to offer a price difference regardless of how many you buy. I get lots of people who ask the question and they would love to have my stuff in their shop, but my problem up until now, which is something I'll probably talk about more next time, is that I've had, because of where I started from really, I've been in a position where I've been working at the discount end of the market. So now that I'm doing my own thing and creating my own stuff rather than just retailing commercial product, it's actually been really hard to move away from that original pricing structure. And as I say, that's something I'm going to talk about more next month. But it has meant up until now that I haven't been able to offer a wholesale discount for those with shops. I have been able to offer labelling and things like that free of charge, but I haven't been able to offer discounts on the price. But do you know what? I'd sell 100 grams of fibre for £4.75 hand dyed. My competitors, £8, 100 grams. So do you know what? Even if you are buying at my full retail markup, you're still buying at half price of anybody else. So if you want to talk to me about buying to supply in your shop, feel free to add on to that £4.75, whatever you wish. But £4.75 is the price for 100 grams, regardless of how much you buy. It's just because I work at home, margins I make are ridiculously small, and it's something that I've had to live with this past 6 months. As I say, I'll talk about that more next month, and we'll see where that goes. Because I definitely would like to expand into some wholesale possibilities, because I've had some really big opportunities, a couple of which that I've missed just because I wasn't able to discount the prices any further. But also a couple that are still kind of ongoing, people that are continually watching what I'm doing and seeing, contact me sort of every 6 months or once a year even to ask the question again. So it would be quite nice if next time when they email I could actually say, well, I can't offer you 50% off, but here's what I can do. So we'll see. The next thing I wanted to talk about was I was featured in a magazine, which I am really, really pleased about. I was contacted a while ago via my Etsy store. Somebody wanted to use an image of some of my mini skeins. What colour was it? It was colour autumn, and I'm popular today. Phone call. So what was I talking about? Yes, I was boasting about my Knit Now feature. Yes, I'm really, really pleased actually, really thrilled. It was just a little thing. It was Knit Now magazine, issue 13, I think it is, and it was their autumn feature. So it was past the middle of the book, bordering towards the end of the magazine. And they do like a wish list feature of the kind of things that they would like to buy for autumn. And they featured several yarns, and my autumn mini skeins in my wool base DK weight was the first one that they featured, and yeah, I was just really, really pleased. So I spent the entire days of smiling to myself and full of the joys of because it was so cool to be featured in a magazine. That's my first little feature within a magazine, and it's made me think that actually maybe I am good enough to be featured in these magazines, so maybe I should get out there and push my work a little bit more. Something I'm really not used to doing at all. So that's also on the cards. So working with retailers and advertising in magazines. Yeah, lots of work to do, I think. But I think it's doable, and the feedback's been great. So we shall see. I think my next podcast is going to be about the kind of the new directions, because this year has been a real roller coaster of new things, and it's been great really. So we should probably do some kind of update and look at where I was at the beginning of the year, what my sort of plans were business wise, and how I've progressed with that throughout the year, and what other things have come up that I hadn't kind of anticipated. So that's all my kind of businessy stuff. The the last two things I probably should talk about in terms of business are shows and talk you through my new semi-solid range. I'm going to include a picture of my semi-solid range purely because if I show them to you at the moment, the light's not great, you're not going to get a real feel for what the colours look like. So I'm going to insert a picture here. Okay, so that's my semi-solid colour range. I have dyed it initially on Shetland purely because A, I had more Shetland, B, I've actually been asked for more Shetland in plain colours. And also because it takes the colour quite nicely, so I've been able to get those variations of colour that I wanted. At the moment they are up for sale as is. 50 grams is £2.75, hand dyed. When I say semi-solid, I mean it's gone in the pot with one colour, but obviously where the dye has touched the fibre along the length of the top, you've got different saturation points. So some with high, some with medium, some with low saturation points. So it gives that kind of semi-solid, tie-dye-ish kind of effect, which is, I think, more interesting to spin than a pure solid colour, personally. I've gone for 10 shades, as you saw. I've tried to pick a colour range that worked together, that also works quite nicely with the hand-dyed colours that I do in my variation dyes, and also with the solid colours that I stock in the commercial merinos as well. So it gives you a bit of a balance, but also colours that you don't quite get in some of those commercial merinos. So hopefully something a bit more of interest. It's doing quite well. The first weekend I sold quite a lot of it, so I'm actually going to have to start re-dyeing, which is already making me think, what other fibres can I do it on? The answer is any of my white bases I can dye in any of those semi-solid colours. I would say to anybody who's thinking, well, in that case, can I custom order? Yes, you can, but I will price for 200 grams. The reason being that I dye up 200 grams at a time. If it's a fibre base that I'm not sure I'm going to sell regularly enough, then I'm going to need to make sure that I get rid of that full 200 grams, so I'm not left with another 150 grams that I can't really do anything with. So at this stage, in the next shop update, which is in November, I will be creating a custom listing for hand dyed on the semi-solid range, on the fibre, which is the tops, but it will be for the minimal amount of 200. So just bear that in mind when you're ordering, that's what that will reflect. As we go on, if I get lots of interest, for example in Blueface Leicester or in Falkland, then I will say, okay, I will dye up 50 grams of these particular fibre bases and 200 grams of those other fibre bases. So there will be a little bit of sort of give and take there, if you like. But you know, we'll see how we go. As I say, the reaction has been really good, so I'm really pleased with that. It means that I can extend that colour range and add maybe, you know, say 5 more colours in the next coming 2 to 3 months. It also means as well that I can start thinking about semi-solids on yarns, which I know is something I have been asked for before but not necessarily been able to do. My issue up until now with that is that I would probably dye 400 grams at a time, whereas if I dye my variegated, I dye up 200 grams at a time. So I have to experiment, but that is something that's on the cards, and now I know I've had that good reaction to fibre, I see no reason why there shouldn't be an equally good reaction on my yarn bases. So keep watching. As soon as it's ready, I will let you know. Also, I just wanted to give you a heads up on some upcoming shows in October, so if you are around and about the Devon area, you can come and see me and come and see some of these colours in the flesh and feel some of these fibre bases so that you can experiment and try new things for your crafts. So the first one is Woolly Weekend. That's the 13th to 14th of October at Kelly House. The website is kellyhouse.co.uk, although I think they have the Woolly House details on a separate website. If you type in Woolly House Weekend into Google, you'll come up with the website and that will give you all of the details. I do have details on my website under the events page. You can see when you come onto the homepage of SarasTextureCraft.com, there is a small box with the events, and you can press links and things for more details. And I believe, have a map for directions on there, so have a look at that. Any problems, give me a shout. The next one I'll be doing after that is the next weekend on the 20th of October. I will be at the Somerset Guild. Now that is a closed event, that's members only. So if you are a member of the Somerset Guild, come and see me, bring your pennies. Then the next day, or the next afternoon, on the Sunday afternoon, the 21st of October, I shall be at KTOG 6. KTOG 6 is a small-scale knitting event. Very informal. They have little sort of drop-in workshops that you can do, and quite a few yarn shops, and people like myself are there. So it's always, you know, if you are free from 1 to 5 on that Sunday afternoon, it's worth popping into. I can't remember off the top of my head whereabouts that is exactly. Chudley, Knightington, which I think is just outside of Newton Abbot. Again, those details and specifics will be on my website, along with a map and the postcode details for anyone who wants to type that into their GPS systems. On the 27th of October, which is the next week, I shall be at the West Country Embroiderers Guild. That is their annual general meeting, so it's closed to members only. But if you are a member, you can find me there. I shall try to have as many yarn and fibres as possible. I shall also be bringing my mini skeins, which are great for embroidery and things. So there will be things for you to buy on my stall that day, I'm sure. I am sure. So those are my upcoming shows in October, which is why I look as tired as I am, because as you can see behind me, this is stock already, and most of it's dry, but it's ready to be skeined up and prepared for the shows. I have got fibre, lots and lots of fibre I've done, but that's already boxed and set aside. So up here what we've got is, we've got some some fall leaves. This is on my Blueface Leicester Superwash Aran base. I've also got that on my sock base, which is a high twist sock base. I want to say merino and nylon, but I might be wrong off the top of my head. I can't remember. But it's fantastic to knit with, because it's I think it's going to be really hard wearing and quite difficult to sort of start pilling immediately, which is why I use it, because I think a sock yarn should be hard wearing. Don't forget, of course, sock yarn. This sock yarn is essentially 4-ply, so you can use it for anything else you like. It makes fantastic shawls, would make lovely cardigans, or lightweight jumpers for sort of warmer times. So don't think of it just as sock yarn because I've labelled it for sock yarn. I'm aiming that at the sock yarn market, because that's quite a big chunk of the knitting market at the moment. But of course you can use it for many other things. I've also dyed up, I'm not sure if you can see it very well from there, but this is Dartmoor, so you've got moss, that kind of sarsaparilla colour, and you've got the kind of claret colour as well, so a real mix of sort of heathery shades along with that mossy, lichen-y sort of look that reminds me of Dartmoor. Again, that's on sock yarn there, but I will have that on other bases as well. I've also got some hand spun here. I'm not sure if you can see that, just down there. I'm trying to get as many new hand spuns as possible for these shows, which will, if they don't sell at the shows, will end up on the websites. Hand spun has been doing quite well for me. It takes me a time to get together. Between all the dyeing, the carding, the processing fleeces and so on, you don't get many hours left in the day to sit and spin, and it does, if you're going to do it properly, take a while to spin up 100-200 grams of colour to work into a yarn. So it's something that I'm working on, and was something that will probably always be a small part of the business, but they will be available. So yeah, find me at Woolly Weekend, because I will have as many as possible for that show, first and foremostly. And they do tend to go quite quickly, so my advice, come early if you're after the hand spun. Okay, only 2 items on my list left to talk about. First of all is Glastonbury Wool Weekend, which was the show I did at the end of August. I remembered saying that I would show you as much video as possible that I caught throughout the day. So I'm going to show you that in a moment. Words of warning, first of all, I look as sick as a dog. Yeah, I do. And I was. I suffered from travel sickness, which I think actually was brought on by anxiety attacks. I'm still finding it really hard to control my anxiety attacks, and I don't want to medicate. I know I could go to the doctor and they could probably prescribe me something, but I really don't want to medicate. I think, I have suffered from them previously, but I think after all of the fertility treatment, my hormones were up all over the place, and it sort of exacerbated certain things. And so things like the anxiety problems that I faced before and had got under control have come back with a vengeance. And this show was a prime example of how ridiculously ill I can make myself when I have an anxiety attack. And for no reason at all, because I was taking a lot of stock that I've sold before, that I've sold a lot of online. I was doing another show, and how many shows have I done previously, but I found myself worrying about the tiniest little things, like will we get there on time, will we be in a good spot, will they want to invite me back again, all those kind of things. I start sort of worrying about, well, essentially, am I good enough, what will people think, and all of these silly things that I know are stupid, I know are really stupid to worry about, because at the end of the day, I've been doing alright, and the other shows have proved that people like my new colourways, and so there's no rational reason why I get these panic attacks, but my god, do they make me ill. So, apologies in the video, I do look really ill, and of course, because I wasn't feeling well, and also, secondly, because we actually were ultra busy, which I am extremely grateful for, guys. You rock my world when you come and you embrace and support everything that I do, and it's just so amazing. I don't know why I didn't expect people to come and see me. I don't know why I worried about things like that. I mean, okay, I don't want to come across cocksure and arrogant about it, but I should, by now, have a little bit more confidence in myself than I do. So, apologies for looking ill. That did mean a lack of video. Good morning, it is Saturday, is it the 17th of August? 18th of August. You can tell I'm wide awake, sorry about the shake. We're in the van on our way to the Glastonbury Wool Festival. It is about 7:20, or close to, which explains the bags under the eyes. It's quite a nice morning, so we're hoping for a dry journey to Glastonbury. and I will no doubt take some video when we get there. Okay, see you soon. Okay, here we are, I've got lots of fleece. Some of my hand dyed. Some new colours. He's looking a bit drunk today. I'll have to do some work on his feet. Here are the bats. Big thank you to Darrin, who helped me out by carding bats for me, which look absolutely amazing. And then these are my dyed tops. I don't know whether to come or not. Oh, they've sat down. I'm not going any further. Not playing today. God bless. Aren't they gorgeous? Oh. Hello. Town crier, bringing down the sheep.
Sorry, Alan. Sit.
I was hoping for more chaos. That's everything, folks.
Bill's just over there. Yeah, just leaning over now.
Sorry. Sorry.
Last of some wine. Right, leaning over there.
Can't get one on the other side. Too small.
Yeah, I do.
Ah, Bill.
Would you come here and meet me?
Of the Huddersfield Textile Society and member of the Worship Company of Woolman, who will now open the festival. God save the Queen!
God save the Queen.
And I love all of everybody with everything else.
Here we are, this is where I am. Oh yeah, you're right. Just taking a video, so I'll be back. Here we are. There's little old me. I'm not sure where the other half is. Oh, there he is. Hello. Right. Good morning. It is Sunday the 19th of August, isn't it? Yeah. And it is day 2 of Glastonbury Wool Festival. We had an absolutely amazing day yesterday, so just really want to thank everybody who made the effort to travel a long way, some of them, to come and see us, which was absolutely amazing, so thank you. We are out of quite a lot of stock, so we had to come home last night and cut some more fleece and so on, so we've got a little bit of stock in the van today for the show, and I just hope that's going to be enough. It would be really nice to go home with next to nothing though, so if you are planning on coming today, please still come, there's plenty for you. There was lots of other exciting things happening. I saw the sheep and alpaca run down the high street, which was really good fun. Missed the fashion show because we were busy on the store, but from what I hear there was some pretty amazing stuff that went down the catwalk. Knitted, felted, woven, anything woolly. So it was really good and really well received from what I understand. Today I think the sheepdog trials are on. I'm not sure what else is on, I need to look at the programme. Sorry for the bumps, but the road's quite bumpy. Yeah, what can I say? What did you think of the show yesterday, Darrin?
I thought it was really good. I didn't get a chance to have a look around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was really, really good.
Everybody
really
was
positive.
Yeah, everybody was really happy, weren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's a very good day yesterday, and hoping it will be another excellent day today. So I hope to get a little bit more video as and where I can, and I'll see you later. Cheers. It's the end of the final day. I'd hoped to get a little bit more footage than I have, but to be honest, it's just been amazing. It's just been so busy that, well, the van we've hired, let's say, was full when we came to the show, and I now have, what, maybe a quarter left of the stock that I originally took, and we restocked last night as well, so I took more this morning. So yeah, just I was so tired. I'm just absolutely amazed at the response, so a big thank you to everybody who made the effort to come out. And if you missed it this year, and you do live within a travelling distance, then do think about it for next year, because next year it's going to be a 3-day event over the bank holiday weekend in August. So I'll just pass you over to Darrin, and he'll give you his feedback and what he kind of thought of the show. So Darrin, what did you think of the show?
I thought it was really, really good. Yeah, very, very positive. People from all over. I mean, we had a group of French people.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, excellent. I mean, my bat's sold,
Yeah.
which I'm really, really pleased about.
Yeah, and
So that's now my permanent job, to
yeah,
make those.
yeah,
But yeah, people just buying lots of different things, really.
yeah, and very inspired, weren't they, by lots of different things that we
Yeah,
saw. We talked about, and that other people had as well.
yeah,
There was a nice variety of different stall holders as well. So yeah, definitely one to look out for in the future if you're interested in any shows in the southwest of England. And that's it really. I think I will sign off for there, and I will speak to you again back at HQ, where I'll show you a couple of the things that I bought. I was very good, I was very restrained, but I did splash out on some very unique and lovely buttons, so I will show you those later. Okay, see you soon. Bye. Okay, so that was Glastonbury. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, we had a fantastic time, and it was a really, really warm reception from customers. So yeah, I penciled in for next year. It's going to be over the bank holiday in August next year. So if you are around or you want to make the travel down to Glastonbury, it's a really fantastic area actually to stay, and regardless of the Wall Festival, to, you know, look around and yeah, feel calm and at one with yourself. It's a really fantastic area, so I do urge you to, you know, make the effort to come down and stay over the weekend. It would be nice to see you. Okay, so holiday. It got to the end of June, and no, when were we? It was midway through July. And I had expected, as I said earlier, July to be quite quiet, and of course it wasn't, and had the schedule of work that was building and sort of crescendoing into this huge, like, 7-day-a-week thing. And I said to Darrin, my other half, you know, if I'm honest, I could work all the way through until Christmas, and I could get it all done, but I'm concerned that if I don't take a week off soon, just to put my feet up, that I will burn out before Christmas. I'll either get sick or something will happen, and so it means I'll either miss an opportunity, whether it be a retail order, or I'll miss peak sale times, you know, and I just didn't want to do a crappy job for anyone on custom orders or anything like that, so I thought it was important to take a week off to recuperate. Initially we thought about staying at home, but I found myself on the web one Friday afternoon and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go away for the week. I'm just going to go somewhere quiet and enjoy the peace that that I need to recuperate in. So I went onto a website, and I will link it in the show notes, called www.holidaylettings.co.uk, and I'll also put that underneath me here. And I found a cottage called Little Trembroth, and that's near Stithians in Cornwall. I've got their code, so just in case you pop onto the website, this is where you can find the listing for that holiday home. It's called Home 249062, and I have to sing their praises. It was the perfect little bolt hole, honestly. It's a small annex, and just sleeps 2 people, which was perfect for us. It had cooking facilities, had a shower, lovely walk-in shower, beautiful. Had perfect views from the bedroom window. Had free Wi-Fi, TV set up as well. They had some kind of digital box thing where they had loads of films saved already, and they had DVDs in the house. They also had books in the house as well, so if we hadn't already bought our own, we could have had something else there to entertain us. They were really, really helpful, the couple who own the place, and they live literally across the courtyard in the main cottage there, which is beautiful.
They were really helpful, couldn't do enough to help us and to make us feel welcome. They recommended the local pub to us as well in Scythians, and they recommended to us, you know, just going over for a walk and things like that as well. And it was a really nice, central, quiet spot where I could take a week to myself, but I could still be within easy driving distance of a lot of the main sort of touristy sites if that's what I wanted to do. So we had a fabulous week there. I'm going to show you a short slideshow of some of the pictures. We did everything from looking for sites and things to do with Arthurian legend, right through to sort of castles and things, to art museums as well, and some ives. God, we did a lot. We packed a lot into that week. So as far as me saying, yeah, I want a quiet week, we did quite a lot, actually. We really did quite a lot, and most evenings we were just on the sofa, you know, sort of spaced out. If I could be bothered, I was knitting, and I knitted a hat for Darrin, which I might show you next time, actually. But it was just really nice to be able to get away for that week and to see all those different things. So in the slideshow you're going to see a couple of the highlights, some of our favourite bits, and then at the end you're going to see a video of the seals that we saw at the Seal Sanctuary. Fantastic place, definitely recommend it. These guys, just, despite their, I mean, they're absolute giant, these seals, absolutely giant. They were cute. They were kind of cute and fun. So yeah, lots to see and do. I recommend a trip down to Cornwall if you haven't been to Cornwall. If you have been to Cornwall, then maybe you might recognise some of these places, or you might wish to try out some of these places in the future. So without further ado, here's some highlights from my holiday. She comes.
Cheeky.
Yeah. So nice with her.
Very much a show person.
Hello.
Absolutely lovely. That's the male there, isn't it? I would say.
No, this one's a male as well, I think.
It sort of floats around, doesn't he?
Yeah. Here she comes.
It's lovely. Gets back quite a long way actually because you can't see him.
She's coming again.
There's a bit on
It's brilliant. Oh, yeah, that's a male.
Oh, bloody hell, yeah.
Wow.
He's huge.
God, it's huge.
Playing.
Oh, Anne, you can see him now.
Playing for us. Hello.
Hello. Wow. Amazing. They're huge.
Pretty round there again.
Sal,
Oh, that was him, the two of
can
them.
you see him now? He's coming up to the window.
And again, because he's coming round.
That one is so big. I know it's just the window making it, sort of making fun of it a little bit.
I was trying to not run it back.
Here he comes.
Oh, look at his face.
He's lovely, isn't he? Very, very inquisitive. Here he comes. Here he comes.
Oh, too small.
Now, no one's going to take a picture, don't they?
There we go.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome to our sea lion pool. In here we have our three sea lions, Andre, Norito and Diego. Now Andre is our smallest sea lion on the left hand side. You may have seen him jumping out of the water just earlier. We like to double check that our animal care team don't need any help carrying their buckets of fish. It's very helpful like that. Now, Andre is the smallest sea lion in this pool by miles. Would anyone like to take a guess as to why Andre is so much smaller than our other two sea lions? I'll give you guys a clue, we look completely different.
It's a different seal.
He is a different breed of sea lion. Andre is a Californian sea lion, whereas our other two sea lions are Patagonians. Now Andre may be the smallest boy in this pool, but he more than makes up for it by being the noisiest. He was actually fired from his previous job at Chessington Island of Adventures. Now whilst he was here, he was supposed to be undergoing performance seal training. Well, he found it far more entertaining to simply distract everybody else from their training. So he was brought down here to the sanctuary, and we just take his boisterous behaviour as him being excited to see us. Now, as for Norito and Diego, our two big boys, we got them from Valencia in Spain with another sanctuary. Now, when we first got them, we thought that the other sanctuary hadn't done any training with them at all, as every command we issued them was just returned with a blank stare. Eventually we realised this was because they'd been trained in Spanish, not in English. From here we had only two options. We could attempt to teach our sea lions English, or teach our animal care team Spanish. We took the very British approach of teaching them our language, and now we're the proud owners of some of the only bilingual sea lions in the world. Now Norito and Diego are absolutely massive, and they get their huge size from their huge diets. They have been known to eat up to 18 kilos of fish in a day, which is the equivalent of a 12-stone man eating 41 quarter-pounders. Now, although every boy in this pool does look absolutely massive, it's important to remember they are either 6 or 7 years old. So everyone's got a lot of growing left to do. Andre, who weighs in at 150 kilos, will weigh in at a massive 300 kilos when fully grown. As for Norito and Diego, who weigh in at 250 kilos each, they're going to double in size again to a massive half a ton. Now you can see as well that we have a member of our animal care team just perched on the roof, and throwing some fish into the water. That's just to distract our sea lions, so they don't decide to double check the bucket. When a 250 kilo sea lion double checks a bucket, it normally involves a rugby tackle. And that's something that we'd like to avoid happening to our animal care team, so by throwing those fish in there, we know they're nice and distracted and our animal care team can escape safely. Now out in the wild, Norito and Diego would eat all sorts of animals, including Humboldt penguins. And I've waited until they're back in the water to tell you that our next talk and feed is at our Humboldt Penguin Sanctuary, which is just a small wooden building down there opposite our rock pool. That isn't until 4:30 though, so do feel free to stop and ask me any questions that you have about any animals at the sanctuary, or just return to your favourite areas of the sanctuary.